Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down!
Hi everyone and welcome to episode 2 of The Breakdown. I'm your host Mags and let's get this ball rolling. Alright, so moving on, what are some things that you hope to see out of the first season here in the EHL? We'll start with Colossal this time.
Things that I hope to see for the inaugural season. Well, it's obviously I would like to see us not reach that 20% blacklist rate. You know, that's you having everybody stay around and compete and hang it through it and just get us through the first season so that we can, you know, knock out the little quirks that every league has in its first season. You know, I want to see that not get to that 20% mark. I would love to see it stay as low as possible. You know, you discussed it earlier in the EFL. There's the EBA had that really low blacklist dropout rate, and
sure
you know, I would love for the EHL to go lower than that. You know, that's the primary thing is I want to keep the people involved. And then the other thing is you know, I just want to see everybody get out there and have a good time. You know, you know, you got chances to win awards, things like that, you know, get some elite currency out of it. But, you know, the ultimate goal is for people to enjoy themselves. So, you know, that's the biggest thing for me is just seeing guys out there playing and having a good time. So
I agree. Definitely. I mean, we're all here to play games. It's a hobby, to have fun. So, I mean, that's the root of all this stuff. The awards, all that stuff is just extra incentive to play to me.
Yep.
So, what about you, Aces? What do you hope to see out of the first season?
Partially exactly what Colossal said. Just talking about the turnover rate for blacklists and things like that, as well as having fun. But a big thing for me, especially being the commissioner of the EHL, is making sure not only do my owners return, but that my owners become more knowledgeable and become reliable and are able to do a good job, because that's a big thing for me.
Absolutely.
I didn't go through the process of selecting these 8 owners for nothing. I think they're going to do a good job, and I hope that they return. And I'm going to do everything possible that I can to make sure that they return, helping them out, do whatever. And I want to get them familiarized with like certain programs, like how to do stats on the site. Anything that I can do to make their job easier, I want to do it. So that's a big thing for me, as well as just getting all the people pretty much on the site in general used to the site and getting our forums quite active, because the more active our forums are, the more people have to do, and it generally is a draw for leagues. If the forums are pretty dead, people don't really go in, but if they're active, it brings in a lot of people, so I want to get that kind of going as well.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about that before we started the show. There was a thread up in the EFL forums, and Colossal was like, you know, I don't know, that might be getting a little bit out of hand, and Ice and I were both like, no, that's exactly what we want to see, because the competitiveness, that competitive nature, where people are going back and forth at it, while they're, you know, obviously while they're following the TOU and ensuring that they're not, you know, nobody was attacking anybody on a personal level. Nobody was using vulgar language. It was strictly, you know, Madden skill, you know, what they thought about them as a player, not as a person. You know, they were keeping it within the guidelines of what we want to see on the website. But they were going back and forth at it pretty good. And that's what brings people to the forums. That's what generates traffic to bring people to see. You know, I mean, when something like that's going on, I'm going back a couple times a day to check the thread to see who's, you know, what such and such replied to such and such with, like, you know, to see who the best troll is, you know, who's talking the best trash. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you're right. Like, that forum, you know, activity tends to draw in more people too, because in general gamers are competitive at their
Yeah.
the root of their of most gamers, they're competitive. So you have that competitiveness, and you have this league where you can win more awards. So everybody's competitive to get those awards, and you mesh all that together, and it can be a great thing. So I hope that's what we have here with the EHL. So it remains to be seen, obviously, but props to you. I never would have expected it to get that big this fast. Realistically, with already over 90 users signed up, about 103
And in regards
on a team.
In regards to that, I just want to give a huge thank you to the owners that have helped me find people, because a lot of, like, especially Stainless and Kendricks have been going into drop-in games and getting their friends into this league like mad, and it's just, without them, we'd probably only be at 40, maybe 50 people. So they've been a huge, huge help, and they're going to keep going. So, just thank you to those two.
Yeah, and I was looking through, actually, the free agency if for a little bit. And a lot of these guys I see, like Abyss, Clint Eastwood. They've played in other leagues. IR Brady, Crash. We got Jo, which is a commissioner over in the EFL. Gold, I don't want to say Golden Aces, but actually, GA Boy. I've seen these names around the site. Bud. These are guys that are coming over, new guys that aren't very familiar with hockey, that are giving hockey a shot. So the experience that we provided them, hopefully, is going to be a good one. SJM, the Snake Doc, those guys that we've known. But I do see a lot of new guys on here, which makes me extremely excited, because when new guys get involved, that means we're growing not only this league, but we're growing the site in general. So big shout out to the owners that are recruiting, to you and your team for recruiting. I know that Mags and I, when we play, we always send out a, hey, join EliteTeamPlay.com so you can play hockey, on a league setup type of. We always send that out to everybody we play with in our previously played games.
I'm sure they've been pissed off at me for getting spam messages on Join Elite Team Play, but they'll live with it. Get over it.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see. That's what I will see happen this season. Continue to grow season after season. I want a smoothly ran season. That's all. I'm not asking for a ton. And when we originally discussed this, when Golden Aces came on board, we sat down and talked. And the biggest thing I said is, I don't care if it's 6 teams. I don't care if it's 8 teams. I don't care if it's 20 teams. I just want some form of hockey on this site, because I enjoy playing hockey, and I know there's others out there like me that miss that team play of hockey and want that same scenario. So I appreciate Golden Aces and his crew for coming on and making this happen. I'm very excited for the season to start.
Absolutely. All right, so last question that we have for you here, Aces, because we already answered the when will game times be. Ice brought that up earlier in your post that you made, that they're going to be at 9 and 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Good time frames. It kind of goes in between some of the other leagues that we're competing against. So, how will explain how the games are going to be set up for people that may not be used to hockey or may not understand how it's going to work.
Okay, so game time is basically, in NHL, there's the ESHL, which is the EA Sports Hockey League. And within that, there's an invite friend ability. So you can basically invite anybody you wish to a 6v6 game. So that is how these games will be run, is you basically, the home team manager will go into that and invite his players as well as the away team manager, and he can stay if he's playing, he can leave if he's not playing. That's obviously what has to be done. But that is how it'll be done. Also, the away team manager and the home team manager can talk before the game, and if they wish to do just a simple club challenge where you're in your ESHL club and challenge their club, they can do that. But it's not in the rules. You have to do it either way. It's totally optional, whichever way they wish to do it.
Okay. So it's kind of up to the individual teams to whether to do it as more of a drop-in style game or to do it as an actual club game.
Yeah, and Go ahead.
I'm an old guy, so I know a few years back, back on the old 360, the gameplay was different based on a drop-in game to a. Is that the case on this one or no?
Well, the gameplay itself wasn't too different, but just the way you went about it. Because in old games, there was the whole community lobby thing where you could create your own locked lobby and have everybody join the lobby and stuff like that. As well as the biggest gameplay change between last year and this year was in the older games, you actually used to be able to create your player entirely on your own. Now
Yep.
the only customizational abilities are
What you look like.
stick
you
what you
select
look
from
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the pre stuff is like there's just certain types, and that was intended to even out the game. So there was no like really extreme builds, or there was no learning like you had to level up and stuff. Everybody was just the same right away. And some people like it, some people don't. There's goods and bads about it, but at least everybody's semi even now. So
Well, it leveled the playing field to me, like because, like if I was to go up against somebody in the old style NHL game, while I've played a good chunk, I'm still going to be way behind some of these guys that put in,
oh
you
yeah,
know, several hours every
there's
night.
guys that play. There's guys that play 2, 3, 4,000 games. Like
Yeah.
Well, and that what I was talking about mainly was the fact that the gameplay was different. It was slower when you played in your EA SHL than what it was when you went to a lobby. It seemed a lot quicker in a lobby.
I didn't
or
notice that, but I
something
heard some
smaller.
people saying that.
Yeah, I get it was small, but that's the reason why they didn't go with previous leagues that were in the past didn't go with a club join type of thing. I don't mind joining club and then leaving and joining the club and leaving. That's not a problem. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But that's what I just don't. I just wanted to know: is anybody noticing the difference there? Is that a real thing or not a real thing at all?
It's the only real difference now that some people have said, as of late, has to do with the lag issues.
The captain's
but
lag?
that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna
but
post
even
the
that
fix
still
for
doesn't
that.
fix it.
Yeah, I'm gonna post there's a fix for the captain's lag. If you're familiar with, internet and how to enter in a IP into your modem, there is a fix for it. I haven't messed with it, so I don't know how well it works, but we're gonna try it, so we'll see. All right, so we really don't have anything left for the EHL right now. It's there's not the season's not going yet, so there's not a whole lot really to discuss with it. But I do want to thank you, Aces. You've stepped up, you've done a phenomenal job thus far with minimal direction
you.
from me. So just props to you. I mean, the 90 plus signups, really 100 plus counting the owners and everybody. That's all Aces. So props to you. Thank you for everything
Thank
that
you.
you've done so far, and honestly, I think there's bright things ahead for the EHL. So
Yeah, and I mean, if
Exciting to play.
anybody watching has any questions for me or anything, feel free to shoot me a message on Xbox or the site. I'm not shy, and I'll respond like pretty quick.
all right,
Golden Aces of the EHL commissioner. Appreciate you, man.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, fellas. All right, guys. So we're gonna start the EBA portion of the breakdown here. We're gonna start it off just kind of the overall thoughts on season 1 of the EBA. CW, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the first season? And CW is
Or
not
not.
there, so we'll go to Eastern. Eastern, what are your thoughts on the first season? Oh, there he is. My bad. He's on mute.
I guess it was cool for real. First season on the new site. So I mean, like maybe more teams next season, make it more interesting. So yeah.
Okay. What about you, Eastern?
I would say it was successful, but we had like 3 owners quit or like didn't really do much to like help the league.
Sure.
Like when owners just bid up a random person to like 9 mil when a max bid's only 5 mil and doesn't even scout or talk to them, it's gonna hurt your team. And I mean that team was just like a black hole. Like,
Yeah, I know the
people
Clippers got
request a
killed by
trade,
that.
like that's where you're going. Yeah, like you request a trade, you're getting traded to the Clippers. They're just like your EBA career season 1 dies in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, that hurts. I mean, I know Eric Dreadhead or whatever. I'm the Truth. he got bid up to like 10 mil on the Clippers. I mean, you can't move somebody like that. I mean, it hurts his season, and at the same time, it really hurt the Clippers in general as a team. I know he didn't really help out in some of the cases. You know, I think there were some issues there, but you know, I can see where he was coming from. You know, he got put in a bad spot, so he wasn't real happy. And then, you know, the owner put themselves in a bad spot also right there. So, Young Shot, what do you think?
My overall thoughts is just pretty much like besides from the owners, some of the owners quitting, it kind of ran smooth in a way. Like as far as getting back owners, you know, getting people to actually play and everything.
Sure.
I thought it ran smooth. Pretty much like anything that was like broken down got fixed right back up real quick. As far as the max bid go at the beginning of the year, I forgot who said it. I'm not sure. I'm the truth and everybody else. Like I think Killswitch got bid up so high, and then they couldn't, you know, get off the team even if they requested a trade. I feel like that's the only thing that was kind of the major problem as far as that. But everything else, it ran smooth. There's only been minor problems, and that's about it. But the minor problems usually get fixed up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, the root problems of this season, realistically, came from just a couple of owners. I mean, that's where the problems originated, and that's the only like real black marks on the league, like the downsides to it from this past season. It just, you know, there were a couple owners.
As for stat problems, that's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. The site actually wasn't ready to launch almost until next March, April, was the launch date. And Mags was like, nope, we're doing it now. So some of the issues that you had with the stat system and, you know, they continue waiting for the store to be built and so on and so forth. Those things are all in a row with that situation. So like you said, there's some of the issues that got fixed right away. We'll continue to stay on top of those. I'm sure we'll have more bugs and so forth next year. It's just the way it always is.
The owners were great with that, though. I mean, Eastern, who's in here now, helped me out a lot. SJM, Silent Shot, all those guys, like, I mean, when they seen an issue, they brought it to me, and we were able to get it corrected fairly quickly. So, overall, I mean, it didn't really hinder the season much at all. I mean, we were still able to proceed as normal. So,
Right.
Truth, what about you? What's your thoughts on season 1?
I thought it went as well as first season could have went. I hear what y'all saying about the owners, and I'm gonna turn it around. If you get put in those tough situations where you get bidded up on it and all that good stuff, sometimes, or you just end up on a team that you don't want to be on, sometimes you just gotta just suck it up and play it out and handle it the right way. Because I know I'm the truth, and a few other people didn't make it easy being an owner because nobody wanted to play for the guy. But
Yeah.
so, you know, it goes both ways. Sometimes we just gotta kind of handle things like men, just respectfully ask for a trade, show up for your games, and then you can move on instead of, oh, I'm just not gonna play and stuff like that. But overall, I think it was a pretty good first season.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
It isn't game battles. This league is, when you click that sign up button, what you are saying is, I will play for whoever grabs me for whatever money I go for. You're not saying
Right.
I'll play when I want to play, when I want to play it. That's not, to the people that feel that way, that, oh, you should try me out, or you should make sure I want to be on your team. You should not click that button. 100% honest. And I'm not trying to be, you know, do my way or the highway type of attitude at all, but I 100% agree that you should never sign up for a league like this that's a fantasy style league and expect to be with your buddies or expect to be on the team that you want to go to. Every year in every league that I've played for, and this site and some other sites that I've played on, I never went in with that attitude. That, don't get me wrong, I had teams I want to play for. You do every season. You're like, oh shit, I'd like to play with this and play with that guy. Hell yeah! But if whoever gets me, gets me.
Yeah,
They wanted me worse because they paid more money for me.
I agree with Ice in a way because honestly, like as soon as you click up that sign up button, like he said, you're obligated to go to any team that wants to pick you up, steal your talent, and just want to get you right off the jump. They know how you are. Anybody's going towards you.
Yeah, the one thing I would say, specifically with, we know Truth likes to run with a specific group of people. Like, at the point that when somebody's going after them, so let's say, like, I have a group that I like to run with, especially in Madden, I'll just use Madden for an example. Like, if somebody's coming after me in Madden, I don't care who I go to, I'll play for whoever. But I do like the courtesy of them reaching out to me and saying, hey, I'm going after you. Who do you like to play with? Like, who can I put around you also to make the team better? So I like to get that, so I can understand where an owner should probably reach out to somebody at that point and say, hey, I'm going after you pretty hard. I believe that you're a great player. I think you can carry a line. But who do you want around you? So that not only, you're not necessarily catering to that person, but as an owner, you're making sure that you're putting yourself in the best position to succeed. So I think that's important to reach out to your players. But I'm still agreeing with Ice that you click that sign up button and you're going to whoever that bids on you.
But that's the difference between good ownership and bad ownership as well.
Absolutely.
If you're going to bid that much money on somebody, you might want to have the courtesy to be like, listen, dude, I'm going hard at you. You're coming to me.
To be honest with you, I feel like most wanted should never got picked. That's just my opinion on it.
Hold up.
I feel like most
wanted should never got what? Owner?
Should never got owner. Period.
To be fair, after he picked up I'm the Truth, he asked him who did he want on his line, and I'm the Truth's entire line was I'm the Truth personal picked. He personally picked everybody on his line, and they couldn't win. And then
they couldn't win because everybody on the group is bidded high, especially Ev, especially Ace.
He got good players. Black Super Saiyan was good, and he had good players on his line, and he picked everybody on his line. And the Clippers are not a bad team. And when they couldn't win, then how is that almost wanted? And when I'm the Truth did pick his own line though. He talked to him. He said, "Okay, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Let me know who you want." And he picked every single person, and it still didn't work.
There's a lot that happens behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see, and that's probably one of them. Like, I didn't know that with the Clippers, that what you're just saying. But with that setting aside, we're talking about how the season went. Yeah, there's holes. There's going to be holes next season. It always is. That's just the struggle of running a season on a league site. That there's going to be those few people that are bad apples that are going to make it horrible for the rest of them. So,
when I ran Madden leagues, I always had a bench. And to me, a bench is just a couple of owners that are ready to step up, because it never fails. You can do the best interviews in the world, and you can have, I ran Madden leagues with 24 owners. There's still going to be one or two guys that end up quitting out. They can't take it. They start getting smacked around a little bit, and they just quit. It's going to happen. You just have to be prepared for it. And I think staff did a really good job of, when they were met with the adversity of somebody quitting, that they were able to fill the position quickly. Props to guys like Abyss who were able to get the Clippers to show up, and the last week there were some forfeits, which there's some rules that are gonna go into play site wide that are gonna make sure that people aren't forfeiting in the last week, or not necessarily make sure that they're not forfeiting, but if they do forfeit, they're gonna wish that they hadn't. So there's some things we're going to put in place to try to kind of curb some of that, but a lot of owners did a really good job replacement owners did a good job of stepping up and really turning teams around and turning them into at least teams that were showing up, and we're here to play games. So, the fact that they were able to turn teams into teams that were showing up and playing those games, it really made a difference, at least from my perspective.
To add to that, no matter how well the candidate is, they still will surprise you. It'll still, no matter how well you scout for whatever it is to be the owner, they'll surprise you. EFL owner Abyss, a guy that stepped up and helped them, quit on us in week 1 of an EFL season. I mean, it just happens. There's just going to be those guys, and that's even the guys you least expected are going to be the guys that do that. So, like I said, you guys are the best you could at pulling out. And
so I don't know if Most Wanted didn't deserve it, but when you have other owners that signed up, like I don't really want to say someone's name, but like Jay Snyder, who is known for quitting ownership on other sites and who actually quit in EFL ownership as soon as he got it. Like, I mean, you don't really have much to choose from. It was just the first year. That's kind of hard on Most Wanted, but
Absolutely. Right, so moving on, what changes or improvements would you like to see put into season 2, CW?
Probably like to see there be 3 lines. I know that probably won't happen, but I don't know. That might be a change that I would like to see happen.
I got you. So you'd rather see the 3 lines as opposed to more teams? More teams.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. What about you, Easter?
the weird training camp rule.
Okay. So you don't? I guess you don't like the idea where people can kind of pluck it from wherever.
No, I don't like people stealing my D-League players that I need.
I got you. No, I mean that's understandable.
Especially Mantis in the last week of the season taking 4 of my guys away.
No, I mean,
so I was left with 3 people.
Coming from an owner's perspective, I can absolutely see where you guys are coming from on that. I really do. I can. So, I mean that's something that Showtime has complete control over. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We don't step in unless it deals with EC or something that I feel would negatively affect the league as a whole. So that is something that he has control of. So if you guys really feel strongly as a group of owners, I would encourage you to go to him and maybe not necessarily tell him it's just a bad idea that it sucks or whatever, you don't like it, but maybe explain to him why it negatively affects the league, how it negatively affects you, and maybe introduce a way that maybe we can do it better, because that it's easier to fix something when you can introduce an issue, a correction to an issue that you feel is a problem.
So, wasn't the main reason for that was because of the overload of the training camp players into the teams, which I hated as well?
I think so. I really do think so that it due to the surplus of training camp, they felt that it was best for the players that were stuck there. If an active team really needed somebody, they could pluck them, if that makes sense.
And to go from be the opposite of that, because I was in the training camp, I actually enjoyed that when they put that rule in place, because when I got assigned to the Kings, I thought, well, Crow always does a good job drafting all of his, all the guys that are playing for him is going to play. I'm going to sit here like an idiot on my hands because, so for players like me, that if I wasn't invested into the site and actually wanted it to work, any other place, I probably would have said, well, then screw it. I'm never just getting on NBA again. I'll go worry about some other league or go to try to start some other league. So I would have almost been kicked out of the EBA as a training camp. So for that rule to be in place for a training camp person, I was like, perfect. I might be able to, when the Clippers went down, I was like, I'm going to the Clippers, and then they didn't pick me up. Then I was like, I'm going to Memphis, and they didn't pick me up. So I was like, I'm sitting down here active, but it still gave me an opportunity to be excited to move somewhere else and actually play, because let's be realistic, whenever you sign up, you just want to play. I wouldn't care where I played. I just wanted to play. So I understand how it screws the owners, but on the player side, I understand that it was important to do due to the fact that I'm there with another 7 guys. I mean, he's got his pick of me and 6 other dudes to call up or to, fill in, which sucks for us.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, to be the devil's advocate.
I honestly would have probably had fun blacklisting you, to be honest. So, I mean,
I probably would have took a blacklist. It's pretty boring.
Maybe it would have been
6 games I played.
I would have maybe I had a different view on it, but like I said, Mantis took like 4 of my guys the final week of the season, and I only had 3 guys on my training camp going into playoffs, which
how many people do
at
you
least
think
one of them
should
responded.
be on a training camp? I feel if you have 2 lines, you should probably only have 2, maybe 3 people max on a training camp.
Well, I had 7 because
Yeah.
I mean he took 4 and I was left with 3.
That would suck.
We'll get to it
have
later
to
in
be
the
that seventh
show,
guy in there?
but my goal
Yeah.
is looking at 4 for this season. So,
Wow.
Sorry about my shitty internet, guys.
hey, you're fine. You're fine. So let's go to Ice with what changes or improvements you'd like to see in season 2.
Smaller training camp, even though I know it's important to have, but it sucks to have 4, 5, 6 guys in training camp and you're sitting down there not doing anything. The majority of our blacklist came from training camp this year, and when you put somebody in a D league, they like to call it, or a training camp, doesn't mean. And I can guarantee you, my stats out of the 4 or 5 games I played wasn't as bad as some of the people that actually played in the league, and I'm not as bad as some of the other guys played in the league. I'm not the best, but I'm definitely not the worst. And I always show up for all my games. To have people like me that are active and want to play, I'm not even thinking about signing up for season 2 because I don't want to do that again. I don't want to set in a training camp for another, just because I don't have time to go out and try out for everybody. So that kind of sucks. On a second note, I would also like to see, of course, more teams, bigger league, better league, so on and so forth. I think Showtime, the staff, hopefully everybody that sticks around on the staff sticks around. I heard some of the names of new people that are going to become owners, and I'm excited for those guys. Because I know they're great people and they're going to do wonderful as owners. So I would like to see the league itself continue to grow. That's just what I would like to say. And I think putting people into a training camp or something like that, I know it's important to have because you have to have backup players because life happens.
Yep.
But I don't think, I don't think it's fair to those guys to say, you can't tell them they're not good enough to play because they are. So it's really about, what friend or who's whatever. So it's just really difficult. So I think that's something that probably needs to be looked at and come up with a better plan and better adjustment moving forward.
Okay.
But other than that, that's the only change I'd like to see.
All right, Young Shot, what about you?
Mostly what I said. Pretty much just having training camp players have better shots because during our season, with the Warriors, just on a personal, as a team note, pretty much some of our training camp players actually got burnt. It was one person or at least 2 people that pretty much did not show up for games during seasons. And we have to use those TC players. And I was asking, Silent Shot, whether we should call him up or not, and he just never decided, to because one of the players was really, really good friends with Melo. And they worked together really good side by side.
Right, so they didn't want to take that step to blacklist them, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just I was just puzzled by it because pretty much like I know these 2 people and they're not bad people either. Even though he caused a lot of controversy, I mean I feel like he did. I don't lose much, and Baby Kids they're not bad people to play with. Like I play with them, they're pretty good, and I figured they'll get a shot somewhere or even on the Warriors, but they just never did.
Right.
Another thing, again, as I said at the early show, it should be a limit on max bid. I think implemented. I don't know if you did implement it on season 1.
Kind of elaborate on that one.
Like it's my fault, but I think it should be like a kind of limit of how much you can, put on a player. I mean, obviously it's a max bid. Like obviously it's a max bid. But as soon as you go into bidding, like people started to actually boost up people's max, like
you're talking about like the
overbids
on like Truth and Kill Switch.
And it just pretty much just killed everything. It just like as far as trades, as far as roster movements, sometimes I feel like it killed the Clippers. Even though they did some moves, even though the team had good players and everything, I feel like it just killed some of the things that could have made the team even better than what it was.
Yeah, definitely handicap.
Right. And besides that, I don't know as far as the owner getting like the return owners getting higher picks. That's another topic for later on the show.
Yeah, I actually have that.
Besides that, see, so far pretty good. The only thing I would like is just improving the league, and it's just trying to get as much teams because like we want to get back to that 16 team.
Sure.
league. Everybody wants to go back to that. It was way more. I feel like it was funner. It was a lot more responsibility, but I feel like it was way funner. Even though this season was fun, it ran smooth. I feel like if we improve, get more people to actually get on the roster, and actually get more teams, more devoted owners, I feel like we have the shot. But again, that takes time, so I understand.
Yeah. No, and I actually have a couple announcements as soon as we get further into the show here. Actually, after this segment here, I've got a few announcements, and we'll dig deeper into a few of those things. So, Realist, I know you just hopped back in, but what changes or improvements would you like to see?
Sorry, I list. I'll just start off with saying like kind of what Youngshot said with the. I feel like if the max bid's $5 million, and to see a player go for basically 2 max bids is kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
I just feel like it's the owner's choice at the end of the day, but at the same time I feel like it ruins it. Like it can ruin a team because. And not only ruin a team, it can literally ruin a player's season because if he doesn't end up wanting to be on that team, each player has a right to demand a trade. And if this guy demands a trade with his salary that high, I mean, honestly, who can trade for him without trading their whole team?
Yeah. I mean, it did ruin a team this season. I mean, it essentially did. I mean.
Also, this is going to sound totally weird. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm just going to say this. I've been thinking about this.
Go ahead,
but, I kind of don't feel like it's fair that, if you max bid a player, right? If you max bid a player, like 2 owners want to max bid a player. Like, let's say Youngshot and Eastern's a player, owners, and they want to max bid, I don't know, think of a player. Okay, Fab. They want to max bid Fab. And that's still possible, right? For 2 owners to max bid a player, right?
Yes.
And then the player gets a choice, right?
Correct.
Okay. I don't know how you guys feel, but just as for the people that get stuck in the bidding, I just kind of feel it's a little unfair that even though they get max bidded, and if you get max bidded, I'm sure you're considered a high caliber player in the league. But I just feel like it's a little unfair that they get to kind of choose where they want to go. You know what I mean? To the players that are in the bidding, there's a % chance they could go to any team in the league. Where if this player gets max bidded, he kind of gets to make a choice. And I don't know how this is going to sound weird. This part of it is going to sound real weird. But let's say, let's say, 3 owners, and it's 3 owners max bid 1 player, they want to max bid Fab, and instead of making him choose, I would think it would be kind of cool, if you the commissioner's okay, all 3 of you guys want Fab, the max bid's $5 million, who's willing to spend 5.5 on him? And then if he's willing, if one of the owners are, then they want to get him, then they spend the 5.5 on him. And if somebody wants to go to 6, they go to 6. If not, he stays at 5.5. I kind of think that would be cool.
I mean, it's
definitely I don't know how you guys feel about that.
It's a different way of thinking. I'll be honest, I've never really thought of it that way. I mean, and I've never really thought of it like that. The root thing with the whole max bid and their ability to pick their their destination, if you will, is that player, by being a premier player in the league, has kind of earned that right a little bit. And Realist is connecting, so he's not even going to hear what I'm saying. But
he's gonna come back eventually.
Yeah,
don't
right.
worry about
He can listen to it on the show. So yeah, there he's back now. So
oh, what the hell, dude? My internet's bugging out.
It's all good. So the whole premise was that the player being a premier player in that league has kind of earned that right being max bidded, that they get to kind of choose where they go. But on the flip side of that, I'll just use myself as a in the Madden League. People think I'm just fantastic at Madden because I've been in Madden leagues for I don't know 5 years now. 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Jesus Christ. 5 years I've been in Madden leagues. So people just assume that I'm this, God's gift to Madden, and I'm really not. I'm an average player at best. I mean, realistically. Yet, for the past 6 seasons in a row in a Madden league, I've been max bidded without the choice of where I go to.
Right.
So there's definitely a plus and a negative side to it. Is basically what I'm getting to. There's definitely bonuses to getting it if you get multiple bids, but there's also that negative to the flip side to it that it doesn't always really work out that way, type of deal.
Right.
So there's pros and cons to it. I definitely see what you're saying. I mean, I've never really thought of it that way, to be honest with you.
I just kind of think, I just think it makes things, like, I don't know if it does in certain people's opinions. In my opinion, kind of makes things a little bit more fair. So just to say, like, I don't know, you probably never will, but you might have the one guy that comes into the league where he's like, oh, why don't I get to pick where I play? Even though he's not getting max bidded, you might have that one person that says that. And I mean, it's one person, but
because you're not
you're
good
not
enough.
good. Listen, I'm coming in with it.
I mean, I'm okay with accepting that. I'm not good enough to pick where I want to play in this league, and I'm okay with that. Like, I know I'm not a top tier player. I know I'm not a fabulous. I know I'm not, one of those guys that are going, I'm not Mr. Young Shot. I'm not a guy that's going to be big in the paint, but I can hold my own.
He's like, calm down. Calm down, nice.
Chill out. But, I'm not one of these guys that can come in and pick my spot. And I'm okay. I understand that. So, I mean, you're right. If a retarded person comes in and goes, why can't I be? Because you're not good enough, kid. Sorry. I mean, this is where the elite players play. You just ain't good enough. If you're good and you ball out a season, you go for $500K and you ball out, and they say, oh my God, he's a max bid, then guess what? Next year, you can pick where you want to go because we'll give you that privilege.
Yeah.
But I kind of understand what you're saying with, hey, if I want to bump up and pay more for this guy, instead of having him go into bidding and then I pay $10 million for him, because you really don't want that to happen. It just hurts the league. But that's also owners, I think. And this isn't a shot at Mr. Most Wanted at all. I know he was new at being owner. But that you're going to weed through these new owners and so forth as the seasons go on. And the owners are going to, not do that because they realize it hurts their team. But you get one every season, that's going to go out or higher than what they should. As for the going 500K, 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 I mean, that's the same situation as the Most Wanted. You don't want 4 people trying to outbid each other to try to get this kid that is going to go for 9, 10 mil. It's just actually going to hurt their team. What if the kid's like, I don't really want to play for you, and then he quits, and then now you're screwed. I mean, or he just doesn't show up to most of his games, or I mean, it just really hurts the team, and you don't want something like that to hurt the league. The whole purpose of the max bid is to not hurt the league. To say, hey, if you're going to pay that much for somebody, you just get him right now, and let's move on with let's go into bidding with what you've got. So
exactly.
Yep.
But I mean, was there an issue with multiple max bids this year?
I don't think there were.
There wasn't.
It wasn't.
There wasn't. There wasn't. I just thought it would be like, if it came to that, I think that would be like a cool situation for the league. I think that, I'm just saying, like, instead of, if it were to happen, like, oh, let's be realistic. If you have a guy like, 2 owners, like if you have guys like, I'm just going to bring up an old name, Swisher. And then you have somebody like Young Shot as an owner. If you put those 2 as the owners and they both max bid the same player, the dude's not going to go play for Swisher. Come on now, you know that.
Well, then you can't really blame him. I mean, realistically, you're the good owner. I'm going to play. So, for instance, there's a good example, Madden League. I've been playing forever. one season, I had the choice to play for who I wanted. I'm going to choose the guy who I know that's been an owner, who I know that can always be there, who can set up a good league, that's going to set up a good team around me. I want that. If you're going to pay me $4.5 million or whatever the max bid is at that time, I want a good team surrounded by me as well. I know my salary is going to hurt that team, but I want to at least go to an owner that, one, I can work with, two, that's going to work with me on my schedule. And, and so that gives you the benefit as a player. And I think it puts the power back in the player, which I agree that the player shouldn't have a whole lot of power. I 100% agreement with that. But I'm also, I do think that the player, if you're an elite player in the team and you're going to get max bidded by 3 or 4 teams, you should choose who you really want to go play for, who you think you're going to have the best season at, where you're going to give the most back to the league that just gave you the max bid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But that's just my point. Realistically, it's down to the answer and the staff to do whatever they want. I mean, I would definitely, if you're that strongly about it, I would definitely take it to staff and bat it back and forth with them on how they feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Did you have any more?
The only other thing is that I would kind of like if we went, I don't know if it's possible because of the number of signups, I would just kind of like it if we could go to 3 lines instead of 2. Yeah. I know people are
CW.
I know people are not, some of the owners, it's easier for them. It's a little easier for them dealing with, themselves and 9 other players than themselves and 14 other players. It's a little bit easier, I would say. But at the same time, I just kind of feel like if you with a 15 mil, was it 17 mil salary for 8 guys.
It changes based on the amount of guys that you have, if that's what you're trying to get to.
Right.
Your salary changes
vary
based on the amount of people that. Yeah.
Right.
I know a lot of people don't realize, but it's actually we have a formula site wide. It's 1.67 multiplied by the number of people on a team. So NBA, there's 2 lines. It's always going to be 1.67 times 10. So round up to 17.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So,
but if there's 3 lines, like you're suggesting, it of course move the salary cap up as well. Yeah. Yeah.
But with the, I know, and it's gonna sound weird, but like I'm always saying weird, but if you have 17 mil for technically 8 players, because you get yourself and a GM for free,
right?
If you're yourself are a good player and you're an owner, and if you get a good GM who's also a good player, then like if you like I'll put it this way, if you got somebody like Fab, it's just so easy to use Fab and his people because they went undefeated, but if you get somebody like Fab as an owner and
they lost the game.
Yeah, no, they forfeited.
Yeah, so that counts as a loss. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Like if you got somebody like Fab as an owner, and then like his boy Let's Get It Boy as an owner, that's 2 people right there that are 2 good players that they don't cost no salary. Like if this were to happen, and then like let's say, that was the case, they still have 17 mil. Like let's say they wanted to go out and get 3 solid players to put on their line, and they spent like, I don't know, just like 10 mil on these players combined, maybe a little bit more.
I understand what you're saying, Realist. We said it before. All you need with 2 lines, all you need is 1 solid line, and then you're good.
Yeah,
you can win it all. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
We agree with that 100%. Yeah, it's all you need is 1 good solid line.
No offense, Eastern, but it was proven this season.
Yeah, no, it is. And I agree. I think it should be 3 lines as well. I think it's harder to build 3 lines. I think it's harder to maintain 3 lines for the owners, so I don't want to put more work on them. But I agree with you as well that I feel it should be 3 lines if we have the numbers.
Yeah.
Because I think it makes the league more competitive. You can't have 1 line that just goes all the way. You've got to have 2 good lines in order to make it.
And Ice really said the key right there is the numbers. Like, right now we're still growing. We're still feeding the league. We're trying to establish the league, trying to grow it. So right now it makes sense.
Which is all what we
want. And
how many signups did we have last season? Just wondering. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I said it earlier. I think it was active people that actually played was 200, and I think 202 or 203, somewhere in that number. I would have to re-look at my computer again.
Yeah.
And
we
we
had
out
10
of those,
teams,
we
right?
had like, yeah, we had 203 people, and we had 36 people that blacklisted. So, I mean, take that as you will.
I mean,
So
we're not far from where we need to start that discussion to expand to 3 lines. We're not that far from it, but we do still have a little ways to go before we really need to push it. I'd like to see us to get in that 20, close to that 20 team range, and then start pushing the 3rd line. Just me personally, I'll leave it up to Showtime, honestly, but that's the point where I may say, hey, we need to really think about it. What's your thoughts on that type of deal? So,
And it's really about the owners that you can get to. I mean, it's hard enough to find 10 solid owners, and now to find 20.
yeah.
I mean, you got to keep the people active. So it really boils down to, I mean, it doesn't really matter what I think, even though I just pay the bills here. And to a point, it matters what Mags says, but it really matters what the staff themselves. So the commissioner and the staff, that's something they have to sit down and look at the numbers and say, okay, how do we want to approach this season? Is it 2 lines? Is it 3 lines? Is it more teams? Is it less teams? How do we feel that the season will run the smoothest? And I trust the guys that we put in place there to make the right decisions, even though I might have opposite agreements like you, Realist, that I think, 3 lines is better. I always have. I was hoping we'd grow a line this year instead of having to, expand or whatever. But it doesn't, again, it doesn't really matter what I feel or think. It really matters with what the staff is going to do.
Right.
All right. So, True. Changes that you'd like to see.
Oh my God! Finally get to me. Jesus Christ! It took forever.
You already forgot?
No, I mean
No.
basically y'all said everything, so I would just like to see just a few extra teams. There's no need for me to just go back over what 4 other people just said. So I'd just like to see a couple extra teams.
I got you. All right. So we got just a couple things left here with the EBA. So we'll start it off, and this is going to be a rule. This is already set in stone, I was told by Showtime. The owner, returning owner priority rule. So basically what this will mean is for all the returning owners, you're not going to be guaranteed a better pick, but you're going to have a better chance at a better pick. So to better explain that, so the way we do the randomization is all the owners' names are placed into a list, and the first person pulled out of that list is the last pick. So in order to give the returning owners a better chance, we'll actually put the new owners' names in there double. So like if Ice the Man's an owner, his name will be put in twice. If CW's a new owner, his name will be put in twice. Since Eastern's a returning owner, he'll be put in once. So, of those 3 owners, Eastern is only going to be 1 out of 5 there. So the first person pulled, while Eastern only has a 1 in 5 chance, CW has a 2 in 5 chance, and Ice has a 2 in 5 chance also. So it'll help it's a little bit of an incentive for the returning owners. They'll have an opportunity to have a better pick. Again, like I said, not guaranteed, but not guaranteed a better pick, but they're guaranteed a better chance at having a higher pick. So, you have that, and then of course the ability to contract a player, to re-sign players, being a returning owner. That's also a really good privilege. The owners that I do have right now, we're aiming for 14 teams right now. And we have Crow, Eastern, SJM, Silent, Abyss, Stunna, and Black Mamba as returning. And then for the new owners, we have Revolves, King John, Crash, Trainer, Yellow Sapien, Ace Boogie, and Remix. So as of right now, as long as the numbers are there and such, we'll have 14 owners. So the numbers we're looking for, and a lot of people have asked me why we're not doing the randomization yet, this, that, and the other. So here's the deal. For 14 teams, just for the base people, you need 140 players. And then, of course, we can take out the owners because we already have the 14 owners. So that's 126.
Right.
We have the contracted people, which there's roughly around 12 of those. So you take those out, and that takes you down to 114. So I told Showtime right now our goal is to be at about 110 people, ballpark. If we get anywhere in that range, we'll go ahead and have the team draft. And that's only to ensure that, if by Monday we have 150 signups, then we got to start talking about, we need 16 teams. We got to find 2 more owners. We got to, maybe we need to find 4 more owners. So that's the reason we can't do the team draft right now. If we were to do it right now, and we needed to add more owners to make it fair and to be unbiased as possible, we would actually have to pull the results that already happened and redo it. So, Eastern may have gotten the first pick out of 14 teams, and then we had to redo it, and he just happened to get unlucky, and now he's got the 17th pick. And in no way is that fair to the owner, whether it be Eastern or whoever. I was just using him as an example. It's just not fair to that owner to put them in that position to where they go from having a great pick to just a crappy pick. So that's where that's why we have to wait for now. It will in no way affect when the season starts, because we have to have the players before the season can start. So the faster we get signups, they're open right now. You can go on the site right now. If you see my screen here, you just go up, you click on the EBA logo. When the EBA forum loads up right here, you go to the right hand side, you see the sign up here, you click on it. I'm already signed up, so it says congratulations, you're already a free agent. Please view the free agent list. So I can go over here and click on EBA. When I click on EBA, I can see there's 14 members there. So great start. I mean, we opened up signups like 2.5 hours ago. We got 14 members already. So people are already beginning to click on the sign up button. So the more people we sign up, the quicker it goes, the faster the season can start. I mean, if through the weekend we hit 100, Monday night I'll have the friggin' team draft thing, randomization. If by tomorrow night, I've got to work an overnight tomorrow night. If by the time I get off, there's 100 members, Friday night, when I get up and moving around, we'll have the team draft randomization. It don't matter. It's all on the players at this point to when we have this randomization, and to how fast the season begins. So there's no we have to wait till this day or that day or this day or whatever. As soon as we're ready to go, we'll get the ball rolling. So
and for those out there that wanted to move faster, get people excited about the league, get them signed up, and watch the numbers grow. And if we end up going way too high, maybe we can even talk about a third line or more teams, or all best, because growth brings awesome things for us.
Absolutely. All right. So with that said, we'll start with Truth this time. Do you have any questions? You want to do any shout-outs? You want to elaborate on anything?
Can I curse?
I don't care.
I can say whatever.
You can say whatever.
Like whatever.
How old are you?
I'm old enough.
ID
Okay.
check.
I just want to make sure your mom's not in the other room gonna smack the shit out of you when you say something bad. Go ahead.
All right, I got 3 things. 1, that is fucking stupid that y'all did that, and I wish that we would have at least as staff discussed it instead of him just saying, "Yeah, owners get priority." It's stupid because there's no reason for it. Not a single fucking reason why it should be done. Besides, you want to give crybaby ass owners, "Oh, well, most wanted had a high pick, and now I got the Kings, and I should get a better pick." That is fucking stupid.
Oh, man.
God, body bag, zip it up.
Shots fired.
Like,
Talk about
just-
someone else.
Savage. Freaking savage.
take it on the chin. like a champ, and everybody gets the same chance. Like, why are, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're returning owner doesn't mean you should be catered to. I think it's stupid, and I wish we would have voted on it as staff at least, but whatever. And the reason why I say, it should be, even shot around. I'm gonna use Eastern as an example. He just won the championship. His bonus is that everybody knows he's a good owner, so they're gonna want to play for him regardless, whether he has a great team or not. What you did last season, and knowing that you can run a good team, I'm gonna gear myself towards returning owners that did good versus new owners. I don't know what I'm gonna get. So that's your bonus. That's your, incentive of coming back. You don't need extra team, a better chance at a good team.
And to defend the decision a little bit, because I kind of agree with the way we went, but to defend the decision a little bit, the way it's set up, it doesn't guarantee anything, and I wouldn't want it to guarantee anything. That we had talked about previously, in some leagues before, we had done it where the returning owners, like if there were 5 returning owners, they got 1 through 5. Like, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I think everybody can agree that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So the way it's set up now, I think is more fair. It gives a small incentive. And while it doesn't guarantee, there's a chance that you can get a higher pick, just to kind of to justify the thought process behind it.
And I'm gonna go with truth here because, I'm gonna go with truth on this one because you already have, as a returning owner. Before I was for it when they didn't have anything, but now you already have a place where you can set 3 contracted players. And isn't there something where you get 2 re-signs or something?
You get 2 re-signs at basically 1.5 times their salary is essentially what it would be.
Okay, so you get 3 contracted and 2 re-signs on a 2-line league. I can now completely keep my entire line.
Yep.
That just went 30-1. I can completely keep them if they were going to stick around.
Which Eastern's not doing, by the way.
Now
so
my
don't,
job
don't
becomes.
Be afraid.
I'm just saying, just because. And now, so I can complete, and I'm going to get a chance at another good team that they can play with, and I don't have to work as hard in the bidding or in the scouting because all I need is 1 line, which I'm probably going to play on the other line, so all I need is really 4 people.
Yeah, no,
I mean, and accounting my GM, I don't. Now I need 3 people. I need to go into bidding and I get 3 people, and I'm going to have a good team, and I have a full line already. That just seems a little overpowered for new owners to have to go against. It just seems. I mean, you're already going against the fact, like True said, that they already did better.
There's a lot of valid points and pros and cons to it. I mean, there's no disagreeing to that. So, what else?
I just want to get my last 2 things off real quick, and then second, just for me personally, I want to play more than 10 games this season. I'm an active person, and I want to be on an actual good team because every basketball season I've ever played in just ended in complete and utter chaos. For what reason, I don't know. I've just been having bad luck, so I just
the Hawks weren't that bad. When we was on the Hawks, I don't know what season that was. That wasn't too bad. Well, I don't know.
He's
what's
getting the
going on. He's
thing.
Connecting. There you
There
go.
he goes.
He was so mad he disconnected. That's how mad he was. Go ahead.
But I just hoping I have a decent season moving forward. And lastly, the truth shall set you free.
Oh,
obviously. All right, Realist, what about you, man? Shout outs, additional thoughts, anything?
Connection. Oh.
No. I think my internet's fine now. But Truth isn't though.
Nope, he screwed up again.
I think. I don't know. Shout outs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Silent for being bad with the Warriors.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh, shots fired.
That's my name. I know. Let me stop.
Poor young shot. Sitting here eating bullets all night.
It just
Shout out
sucks,
to
man.
Eastern. Shout out to Eastern for spending the whole season in a backpack.
Hey.
Wow.
Uh,
Oh, Lord.
Oh my god. I just savage
Realist
tonight,
was
man.
like,
Everybody just turned
Mags
into a
called me out in the
savage
first
tonight.
episode. I'm coming on to throw shots.
yeah. And then like, yeah, you like when you personally said I was the most disappointing player. I was totally like, yeah, I'm doing trash. Like I am. Like my
Right.
stats are not good at all. But then like I thought about it for a second, like just like watching people play in live streams and stuff. And I was like, wait, like dude's averaging 13 points with Kevin Durant. Like
Right.
I'm doing that with like never. Who would do that with Kevin Durant? And then but my last shout out is to shout out to the 5 people on my team that lost Game 7 to the people that were in the backpack all season.
That's great.
Oh man.
Wow.
Realist holding nothing back on the breakdown, fellas. What about you, young shot?
Oh man, why do you have to go to me for? All right, first, shout out to the Kings. They beat us fair and square. Shout out to Cuban. I know people hate Cuban in this league, but that man really knows what he's doing out there. And even though he could be an asshole at times, I mean, he does what he has to do. So I'm proud of him.
Yeah. Props to Lolita. Mojitos for life. You know what I'm talking about.
Now for a little bit of shade. I'm glad that I'm done playing the season, and I thought this man would be like the perfect teammate. I'm glad to get a season over with for freaking Redwater. I just want to throw that.
Zip him up.
I'm very glad. Even though he did what he had to do with Zealy, I just feel like he just wasn't there at times. Just never, play within the team. Like, he got his rebounds, he got his stats, but I feel like he just never tried to play within the team at times.
That's probably fair.
As far as that, right. Silent did all he could as an owner. I don't think his ability as an owner is unmatched. Anybody that has like any doubts about him, I've been on the team, and I feel like he's a good owner. It's just that he just dealt with the wrong people.
Okay.
Melo, he's all right as far as things go. He's all right with me, and that's about it. And to the surprising loss to the Kings, I don't know how that happened. It was just some BS that happened. I'm still shocked about it. I'm still gonna talk about it, and I'm still gonna bring it up. But besides that, nothing else.
Hi. Ice.
Oh, I get a chance. Okay.
You do.
I don't really. I just want to shout out to everybody who's making the season fun, and hopefully, next season will be as fun, if not funner. The guys like Truth and Mr. Young Shot here. All these guys that are actually showing up for their games, making it fun. The staff, the owners, everybody that's out there doing what they need to do to make the site run smooth. I really appreciate on a higher level that I have you guys running around and handling that for us. So appreciate it. Other than that, that's about it.
All right. Eastern.
Yes.
He's like, I'm gonna throw my shots now.
I mean, are those fries salty enough for your Realist? Damn, cuh. I mean, shout out to Realist, being a big trade chip. I traded him for Shots and JT. He didn't want to play it fair though. Don't blame him though. Fair is kind of annoying. Shout out to for the chip.
Just
TLC,
based on
no
past
scrubs.
experience, Eastern. Just based on past
Shout out.
experience, that dude was very annoying. I'm sorry.
Shout out to
TLC, we don't want no
Ponchi,
scrubs.
who came through in Game 7 being ECU. I can't believe they actually won. Honestly, I was in a hotel room in Arizona, and like they won. I was just like looking in our group chat, like just waiting for it to update, and they won. And it was like super late in Arizona, and I woke up my fiance in the bed like next to me because we won. Like I like with like with Mr. User Pick, you know, aka
I bet he was
Drew,
mad.
like in that game, like really?
Say he was mad. Got him.
But I mean, with the people that were in that game 7,
Wow.
I don't know how the Cavs lost in that game 7. Honestly, with the people they had, I mean,
The most disappointing player couldn't play.
Metro's not on the Cavs.
That's right.
Though. But
Oh wow.
Hold
Wow.
on, wait. I don't mean to cut off this, but Eastern. So that means the fact that you weren't in that game 7. That means you didn't win a playoff game. God.
no, I didn't. But I mean, I need to, right? Because Fab's got a fucking like
I
huge
told
ass
you, dude, you
backpack,
jumped
right?
in like you're still in that shit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's on my team
Your job
this
as
year,
an owner
so...
to put together the best team you could put together. So I mean, you did
Yeah,
something
that's
right, I guess. But
I'll try your team. We go 0-48 though.
Hell yeah.
I hear you.
But shout out to Crow and the Kings for making it so far with the last pick. And I don't know if you guys saw like Crow's scouting thread, because you can post scouting threads. But he has to get one person and a GM. He has his whole team back. So
Two people. Technically.
EBA season 2 champions will be Crow's team. That's I'm gonna guess automatically.
I doubt it.
But that's it. I mean, shout out to Magician and Ice for putting and whoever else is the owner. I know Outtaker does some stuff, but don't really see him on there. And whoever else is the owner or helps out on stuff, shout them for putting a site together so quick. But yeah, that's it.
All right, C-Dub.
I guess shout out to the Kings, I guess, making the finals.
yeah.
Shout out to Ice for being on our training camp.
That's right. Let go. Carry me.
Beast mode.
Talk about a backpack. I climbed in it. Let's go.
And
Oh, man.
I'm gonna
Oh,
take a
man.
page out of Rilla's book. I'm gonna come at somebody.
Oh.
Played a guy in the finals. He was on James Harden, and I'm not gonna say who, but I don't know. He would just throw up a lot of dumb shit, and I don't think that it really just some ass shit, and I don't think he's good because of it. I ain't gonna say his name. But, no, I don't think it was champion, but
he's talking
it
about
might have
Fab.
been champion. It was
Go
one
ahead.
of them. I forget
Go
who
ahead.
it was.
Talking
Just,
about
a lot of
man.
bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Call
Yeah.
out the names.
Just
man.
run into
Call out
the-
the name,
just
man. Say the name.
run into
Say the
the
name.
run into the paint, hit X, it's gonna go in because it's Harden. A lot of dumbass shit.
I mean,
So yeah,
yeah. There's definitely some people that got the crazies going on. For me, I mean, props to the staff. I mean, yeah, you guys got dealt some bad hands. I was kind of in the same group as you guys with the. I thought the owners were good to start with. Turned out that not so much with all of them, but Showtime, Truth, Z Actually, Angry, King John. You guys did a really good job dealing with the adversity. Making the changes where we needed to. I really didn't have to do crap this season, which was fantastic. Just sit back and watch you guys do your thing, so I appreciate it. The owners that hung around, done your thing, great job. Eastern, Silent, Crow. I know there's more. I mean, there were several different teams that had 0 forfeits for an entire season. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, I can't even express how great that is that, you can take a team the entire season and you don't even have any forfeits. That says a lot about yourself and the way you manage your team. It shows a lot of character. And it means a lot to us from an ownership standpoint of the site. Which
Real quick.
Yep.
Kings, Rockets, Warriors, Bulls, no forfeits.
There you go.
And the Heat just had one.
Yep.
Yep, that's good. That's solid. And just so we're clear, I gave all of those owners $1 million bonus when I do the EC to payroll. And as soon as awards are done, payroll will be done, and everybody will see their EC and awards in their account, hopefully before the end of next week. So
yeah, so I mean, the owners aren't even bonus eligible. Staff is, but owners aren't. And ICE decided to go ahead and give those owners a 2 EC bonus, essentially, just because they did such a great job. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it with 0 forfeits. It's just a great job. And then, last but not least, the players. Without you guys, there is no Elite Team Play. So, just in general, not just the EBA, but EFL, EHL getting started. You got to have players to do it all. So, we appreciate you guys that have come out, that support us. Look forward to whatever we can offer you in the future. So, should be a fun ride. Appreciate it.
see, it's still showing me an error.
Starting out with the first segment here, I've got with me Ice the Man, CEO here at Elite Team Play. I've got Colossal, his inaugural appearance on the show. He is the Chief Technical Officer. He does the coding, and when I complain about something, he typically fixes it. Got Aries, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and we've got Utah AP, owner of the Detroit Lions. So, going to get started here. We're gonna start with Aries. What's your thoughts on season 1 of the EFL? And like I said in the parentheses, try not to be too negative.
No, it started out bad, but I think we're finishing strong, and I think going into season 2 will be fine.
Okay.
As long as we have the right numbers and right teams and right owners, I think everything will be fun.
Okay. What about you?
I mean, let's be
Utah?
straight. The whole reason for season 1 to even be started was because you really pushed for it, Aries. Because I want to be honest, when they came with me to Madden 25, I'm be like, yeah, let's don't do that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people may not know
you
that
pushed
too.
to get everybody
I mean,
on there.
The whole reason that we even have season 1, honestly, is because of you. I mean,
Does that mean I win MVP, or how does that work?
Oh, that doesn't work for me. You're MVP in my heart, Aries. That's where you win it at. Good job.
You did get a virtual high five.
What do I get?
So congratulations.
No,
on that.
you do.
Oh
yeah,
my
virtual,
God,
yeah.
I'm honored.
All right, Utah, what's your thoughts on the first season here?
Well, it was a good season. My team, we were a roller coaster all season, but it wasn't bad. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoy being Detroit. I'm gonna be Detroit next season, so yeah.
I think
Is that because you have Calvin Johnson? Is that why? Is that that's why?
Calvin,
Is
dude.
it? Yeah, that's
yeah,
exactly.
you gotta have
yeah,
Calvin.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
that's
trade
why
with
you
you.
want to be Detroit.
he's broke. I mean,
You
plain and
want
simple.
you want
Calvin's
Detroit for
broke.
Dallas?
I don't even want Dallas, dude. I want Detroit.
I don't want Dallas either.
That's great. All right. So we're closing up the season. Tonight's the last night of the season. So who do each of you have as MVP this season? We'll start with Utah. Who do you think qualifies for MVP this season?
Qualify for MVP. Well, I gotta go with my Scooby-Doo dog. Beat down. Great season. Terrible record, but hey.
Everything you need an MVP, right?
We're working on it.
He put up some numbers though, didn't he?
Put up really good numbers, but no defense whatsoever. But it's alright. But
He will hate on him.
if I had to give, yeah, he's my best. He's my
shout
best
out.
friend. So hey, go ahead, beat down. But if I had to pick an MVP, I would have to go with Hutch or Aries. Even though they're gonna lose in the Super Bowl
Oh.
against the Detroit Lions.
Oh my. Okay. Shots fired.
Ouch.
What about you, Aries?
Okay then. I think I have two in mind. I think Outlaw, definitely. I mean, because to me the MVP is if you take that person off the team, where are they?
I
And
completely
everyone keeps
agree.
bringing up the Eagles. Everyone keeps bringing up the Eagles. Well, if you take them off the roster, if you take any of them off the roster, they're still winning. They're still going to be in first or second or whatever.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
take Outlaw off of the Bengals, they're with the Cardinals. Like them and the Cardinals are battling for a playoff spot. And then, of course, I'd say Hutch. I mean, Hutch kind of carried my team, and he had really good defensive numbers. He had Star Wars offensive numbers, and what did he go? Played 13 games. He went 11 and I don't know. He went like I think he had 12 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins because I played a game without
It only
him this
has
week, so I
3 or
don't have
4
it
losses.
off the top of my
I
head.
mean, at the end of the day, yeah.
He has 3 losses.
Okay, so there you
3
go.
losses and then yeah. So he had a good season. So
Yeah, I mean, and he's
think those are my two.
he's ranked 5th in passing yards. He's got 42 touchdowns to 6 picks. I mean, that's pretty daggone good.
he threw 1 touchdown and 2 picks tonight, and then the Vikings took a forfeit, so we locked up the
So
third
he's going to
seed.
be 43 touchdowns to 8 picks at the end of the season. I mean, those are. He's the only person in like the top probably 20 there that's thrown less than 10 picks.
Yeah.
Nobody has thrown as many interceptions. Oh no, there are people that threw more interceptions than me. Okay.
Yeah, I don't lose much, you know.
That's a glitch.
Yeah, something's messed up there. I think it is a glitch, actually.
Yeah.
Something's messed up. So, oh yeah, it's where I got. Never mind, it's where I got traded. I'd be up there. I got to fix that. But yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, Romo was talking about that.
Yeah. There's for the people out there that are in the EFL that don't know, there is a glitch to where we do have to put you back in your user group if you were traded, so that all your stats will show. Because once the season is closed, you'll be able to go back into that season and review everybody's stats. So before we get our close the season feature in place, we do have to do that and get everything situated. So we'll make sure to do that before the awards are given out, so that everybody has an equal shot at awards if you were traded and moved around. And I definitely want to make sure that I led the league in interceptions this season. So I will make sure that I'm back.
You earned it.
I did.
You deserved
I
it.
deserve it. I deserve it.
Virtual high
If we
five.
can get an award with a trash can and give it to you, that would be awesome. If we can do that,
Yeah, that would be great.
make
All
it
right.
happen. Yeah, okay. Okay, even though I wasn't really asked, I still want to throw my MVPs out. I posted them on the site of who I thought, Outlaw Torn, The Hutch, Black Northside, Aries, IR Brady, and Woody. But if you hold a gun to my head now and say, who would you choose out of those guys? I'd have to give it to Black Northside. I know Aries made a good point. If you take him off the team, they still might be successful, but he's blowing every single running back away with, 2,477 yards. That's 959 yards above the next closest running back. By
His
1,000 yards
stats are
almost, he's beating the
crazy.
next closest running back.
Yeah,
He's
How
got-
many
has
receiving
Shady.
yards does he have?
he has
He has Shady.
2,477 yards. Listen, I'm gonna rattle off his averages here. I'm pulling up his player card now. It might take just a second because I have like friggin' people upstairs streaming and stuff. But so right now he's averaging 20 rush attempts per game, 165 yards rushing per game, almost 3 touchdowns per game. I mean, just absolutely crazy averages there. I'm trying to figure out what he's got yards.
Even
per
his yak
game
is
there.
like 45 per game yak. I mean, he's still receiving almost 1,000 yards so far. I mean, he's doing
Wow.
doing his job as
He's doing
so yes,
everything.
if you remove him, will the Eagles still win? Probably. Will it be as easy? No, I say he carried defeat, and no offense to defeat or no offense to Joker, but he carried those guys to undefeated season
He's
with those
averaging
running. I mean, if you
8
can't
yards
stop the
per
run in
carry.
this game, it gets dirty. I mean, as the Vikings have proved, if you can't stop the run, it gets really hard to win and beat the other team that's against you because it eats up so much clock and eats up so much time. So, I mean, if I had to give it to anybody, I know Aries, you well deserve it. 1,169
Oh
yak.
no, that's fine.
That's like more. There's only 3 running backs that have more yak or more rushing yards than you have yak. So I mean, easy point there. I mean, wide receiver of the year probably hands down in my eyes between you and Utah. But I mean, if he carried, he's the most valuable player, is the most important player, I think, in the league. I think I would have to go with Black Northside. With those stats, he's just blowing away everybody else's.
He's definitely got
Also
running back of
leading
the
in
year
kick return
locked
yards.
up. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, yeah. Well, he's also leading in kick return yards. He has the most kick return yards for the team. I mean, for the league. So I mean, he's doing everything he can do as a player and at his position. So, and his stats aren't bad on defensive side either. I mean, he's doing really well.
Yeah,
I think that's important, though. You saying his positions, running back, D line. You know, you've played running back, D line. How comparatively, how important is running back, D line to quarterback, linebacker?
Well, it isn't.
In your opinion?
I agree with you 100%. I think if you're going to rate them as importance, I would definitely go QB is the most important on the field. The running back is probably the third. However, if you have somebody as good as Black Northside, then your wide receiver doesn't matter. And your quarterback, to be honest with you, I've played with crappy quarterbacks that have good running backs that still beat us because their running back was so good. That had, he doesn't have to throw the ball. Look, I mean, honestly, tonight with IR Brady, our run was okay, but I mean, he didn't have to throw that much. So if you can keep your quarterback from making mistakes, your quarterback becomes less important if you have a running back at this caliber. But I absolutely agree with you. I mean, if you're just looking at an average, I would rather have my quarterback, my wide receiver, than a running back if I'm going to make a line any day of the week, especially running back D line. Although you playing with zero, you realize how important it is to have a defensive line that can get a ton of pressure because it makes your job so much easier.
Well, that was
it is a field role, but I will give you that areas that it isn't as important as the other positions. But it could be if they're that damn good, in which he is that damn good.
Like Redwater's a great linebacker, and obviously Aries is a great DB. But you throw in, when they played with Hostility, Hostility got great D-line pressure. So not only did they have to deal with, Red and Aries, who made great reads, they also had to deal with only having about 3 seconds in the pocket before there was pressure. So, Aries was able to bite down and jump routes. Same thing with Red. They were able to jump those routes without having to worry about the QB having a ton of time in the pocket. And while D-line is probably the least important on the team, it can also make the biggest difference. And make the job easier for the linebacker and the DB.
Yeah, I mean, you could take a top 5 defensive lineman, and I would say it helps the DB so much. I know when I played with Beastie, he got a lot of interceptions. Same with JP. He enjoyed playing with me because he got a lot of interceptions when I would get a lot of pressure. And then, to be honest with you, our DB this year struggled because I wasn't getting pressure in the beginning with one of the best defensive lines in the game until just the last couple of weeks I started figuring it out. So I agree with you. That's not that important if they're all average, but if you've got a standout guy like this, I mean, you gotta look at him and go, damn, you could put him with any quarterback, just about, as long as he's not going to hurt you, and any wide receiver that's not going to hurt you, and he's going to carry the team. You just hand the ball off, throw screens if you have to throw the ball, just hand the ball off, and he's going to score your points.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and you're bringing up Zero. I think 2 out of our 3 losses this season, if Zero was in the game or in the game the whole time, I think there are different outcomes, whether we lose by 1 or lose by 10, or win by 1, I should say. So, I mean, you're right on that.
D-line,
it does
right?
matter.
I mean,
yeah. I feel like 2 of our 3
if,
losses, he would have made a huge difference. The third, I just got mossed like 17 times.
Well, yeah, I'm going to bring that up, but but I mean, defensive line tonight, the game was way different in the second quarter when he was putting that second half when he was putting all that pressure on us. We actually had to make plays. So, I mean, without somebody there actually doing their job, it's 3 pieces. I mean, they all have to go together. But one guy can completely, I think you would have put him on any line, and he would have carried him. And that's what I think is the most valuable player. That's why I would say if I had to give it to somebody, I would give it to Black Northside, only for that reason. And I understand your logic, and it makes absolute sense. The Eagles probably still would be first without him. But I doubt that, and he might be MVP somewhere else, but I think you could put him on the Lions even, and maybe Utah. He could help you guys win a few games.
Yeah,
For sure.
I may actually lean towards Outlaw. I'm kind of with Aries on the fact. I mean, the dude's he leads the league in passing. He's tied for the lead in touchdowns.
Not after tonight.
Well,
I forgot to put him beat down.
Yeah, so beat down may pass him, but he's going to be up there.
Outlaw is definitely the best third down quarterback by far.
Yeah,
this dude does not miss a third down. I can tell you that now.
Outlaw
I played Outlaw
kicker
3 times.
He
Yeah,
has
this dude's
27
freaking
field goals. That's
crazy.
9 more than anybody else on in so far in the
So
stats. So,
he's, you know, I
he
played a lot of
can kick
game
the
battles
ball.
with him back in the day, and he was always a smart quarterback. He didn't, you know, cause a lot of turnovers, and you know that's a great quality. All right, fellas. So let's move on to the playoff predictions. Right now, it looks like from the NFC, it's going to be the Eagles, Cowboys, Bills, and Vikings. And then in the AFC, we're going to have the Bears, Titans, Bengals, and Lions. So let's start with Utah, since Utah's been a little quiet here. Who you got coming out of the NFC? Who you got coming out of the AFC? And who's going to prevail as Super Bowl champs?
NFC's my conference, right?
No, you're AFC.
I'm pretty sure.
NFC's
I'm
Eagles,
AFC, okay.
Cowboys, Bills, and Vikings.
Okay, all right, that sounds stupid, but all right, NFC. I'm gonna
It's all
go
mixed
with.
up.
I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Yeah.
They're gonna do what they did the previous league, shock the nation like they always do. For some reason, they always do, but they'll be in the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure. If I had to put my FanDuel money on it, I'm pretty sure Aries and them will be in the Super Bowl.
Oh, here
But so they'll go Super Bowl, and then AFC side, try not to be too biased, but the Dallas Cowboys are 5-0 this week, and I think we got our ish together. So
You mean the Detroit Lions? Is that what you're trying
I think
to say?
he means the
Detroit
Lions.
yeah.
Yeah, no, because we
Did I
didn't
say
go
the
5
Saints?
0.
That's great.
No, you said
That's
the
great.
Cowboys, but that's fine.
Oh, well, hopefully beat down
You're
and win
stoned.
this game so we can go 6-0. But I think we're hot. I think we found our things. I think Z actually had close to 10 picks these past 3 games. So hey, we got a DB, and then
wow.
Child Please had 8 picks last game. So we'll see what happens though.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we had the Bears, we beat the Bears. We're 2-0 against them on the season, so see what we can do in the playoffs. But I do believe that we'll make it in the Super Bowl.
All right.
I think we have the team to do it.
So Lions and Cowboys in Super Bowl, who comes out on top?
Lions and Cowboys. I don't know. It's gonna be a good one. That's all I gotta say. But ladies love Utah. Find me in the end zone.
All right, Aries, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm on his side because it's in the party, but I think the Bears are falling apart just because they lost CW. I think that's a huge loss. I think the Lions are going to win. I don't think the Bengals have 2 lines deep enough to get out of the AFC. And then who was the 4th team again?
Titans.
The sorry Titans.
Lions, Bengals,
yeah,
Titans, and
the
Bears. yeah.
Titans, yeah. Yeah, Titans. In the NFC, okay, I'll take the Cowboys. Why not?
All right.
I mean, I think Romo is going to be a difference maker for us. It depends on what Romo plays in the playoffs. He could switch down to quarterback. He could make an impact at receiver. I'm not sure what he's going to play just yet. He's going to have to fill in for me next week. He's going to be playing with Hutch and Zero while I'm gone.
Gotcha.
First 2 days, but if it's a best of 5, just get it to the 5th game, and I'll be home by Wednesday against the Bills. And if it's a best of 7, well, then I get an extra game. Why not? But
Right.
so I could see Dallas and Detroit too. That makes a lot of sense. Even though the Eagles lost 2 games all season, whatever.
Right.
Unknown has been beat in the playoffs plenty of times, and I'm not concerned with him.
Right.
Heard it here first.
Well, I mean, you know, he does carry some history of having issues in the playoffs. So, you know, clean slate. We'll see what happens.
Issues or he can't win. Just comes down to that.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Well,
So.
and really in the playoffs, and the way the playoffs work, you need one good line that doesn't lose. That's really what you need. And the Eagles
That's
have
what we
that.
did last. Well, that's what we did in the other
Dallas
website,
Cowboys
so.
have that. I mean, you have blown a couple games, but you have that still some, same, you have a solid line. I think the Buffalo has that solid line, and I also think Minnesota has that one solid line. So it's going to be really interesting in the NFC, I think. Of course, I got to root for the Bills. I mean, I'm on the team. I'm playing for them. I want them to win it all. I think we got a really good chance. I don't think it's going to be easy. Obviously, whoever comes out of the NFC is winning the Super Bowl in my eyes. Because if it's whether it's the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Bills, or the Vikings, I think they could beat in a 7-game or even a 5-game series. I think they could beat any of the teams below in the AFC. But so it's definitely the stronger conference. I really wish like the Cowboys were on the AFC or the Vikings were on the. I really wish some of these guys were flipped so we could definitely have a clean road there. But it's going to be definitely difficult for the NFC. But I have to go with, of course, Buffalo. I think we could beat the Cowboys especially with Aries being gone. I think if we can just win one of those games and they don't, and one of our lines don't lose, I think we can take that, and that's really going to be big for us. For the AFC, I kind of agree with what Utah says with Detroit, although I still think they're going to struggle when they run up against Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati beat the Titans. I think Detroit has a really good shot of beating the Bears, and then it's going to be Cincinnati and Detroit, and I would almost push Cincinnati ahead. I want to ask Utah a question, if it's okay. What did you do? Is Maltov Cocktease still your quarterback?
Cocktease is a totally different player now. He plays a totally different game, and ever since then, I think he's on a 4-game winning streak with me. So he's that
good.
quarterback,
I would say that was probably your weaker. Yeah, you're probably your weaker line.
Yeah.
He's a great quarterback. I played with him preseason. I was hoping to get on his line this year. A great guy, but I know he was struggling at the beginning of the season. If you fix
what
those
killed us,
errors,
we had no DBs or anything because Z actually was playing with a broken controller for the first 3 weeks of the season, and he got a new controller for Christmas, and he's been pretty good.
Trust me, I wanted to be on that D-line. That D-line is dirty. So if you fixed your issues and your problems going into this, and this is the time to get hot. Like you said, you've won the last 5, hopefully the last 6. This is the time to get hot. So if you can get hot going in, you can beat the Chicago. It's going to be a little battle against the Bengals, but if you can put it down, I see you definitely, Detroit being there, hopefully against Buffalo, and then we can fight it out and Buffalo wins it all. But each of us are going to pick our own teams because we all have faith in what we're able to do. So I'm with you guys on that. But
I have to apologize. The last part of the EFL portion got cut out. I basically picked the Eagles and the Lions as my predictions for the Super Bowl, with the Eagles taking it all. I appreciate everybody coming on, helping out with the show. All portions of the show, the EHL, EBA, EFL, all of them. I'm going to try to figure out what the issue was that actually created the audio problems. Had one with the EHL and one with the EFL where the audio was messed up for some reason. So hopefully we get those squared away and we don't have to worry about them anymore. So, come next month, we'll have us another breakdown. Thank you for watching.